Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I filmed another video on my sister. So this time I went for a soft glam look since the last look I filmed on her was a really dramatic like smoky look. So this is how it turned out. I'm obsessed. So really nice like soft like glittery eyes, blown out, really bronzy skin. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I create this look, then just keep on watching. Start off with, you guys know I love to highlight the décolletage area, so I'm just taking my Mecca liquid light in the shade gold, and I'm putting this all over and just blending it out with a fluffy brush. So this product is really beautiful on the chest because it creates like a shine, like it's not like a glittery look, which I really like, and it looks gorgeous in photos as well. And next we're priming, so I'm taking my Tatcha Silk Canvas and my Laura Mercier Blemishless Primer, and I'm focusing the Tatcha in the center of her face and then the Laura Mercier everywhere else, just to make sure everything is nice and hydrated and ready for the foundation. And I also forgot to add with this, the Laura Mercier primer, I also mixed in some of those liquid light gold drops, which I don't usually do. I never usually put like a liquid highlighter underneath foundation, but it actually looked really pretty. I normally don't do it because the foundation and stuff is going to cover it anyway, but for the meantime it looked really nice on the skin. So yeah, I just blended that all over, and then I also went in with some of my Skindinavia makeup primer spray. Sure, I listen real fun. Close. I just opened my mouth. I know why. Why did you open your mouth? So next is brows. So I'm taking this Browsings Pro Brow Palette. This is the medium deep one. I'm just filling in her brows. I don't fill them in too much because as you can see, she does have really nice full brows already. So as I've said in my previous videos, I just like to focus the product mainly in the bottom half, like the underneath of the brow, and then brush through the product so it's a bit fluffier and not as like harsh at the top. Then to carve out the brows, you guys know I'm going to go with my Pillowies base. I'm taking the shades 2 and 3. Are you holding again? I'm just taking a little Peaches makeup brush. I'll leave all of the products down below, and I'm just using this to carve the underneath of a brow. I feel like for me, when I use like this square type brush, it's really easy to get like a really nice straight line. I feel like it's so satisfying carving out the underneath of the brow. It makes them look like 100 times better. Yep, I'm just doing the same thing on the other side, and then I'm taking the same shades like 2 and 3 and putting that all over lids to prep them for the eyeshadow. And then as you can see, I blended it in with like a concealer brush, and then I just go over with my sponge just to make sure it's not like too thick on the eyelids. And she also kept opening her eyes, so it kept making the base crease, so I had to keep going over it 100 times and telling her to keep her eyes closed. And now we can get started on the eyeshadow. So I'm taking my Viseart, I think that's Viseart Warm Neutrals Matte Palette, and I'm taking just a brown shade from there. This palette is really nice just for like really good warm and some cool tone browns. Like they blend really nicely, really nice palette. It's lasted me ages, but it's just like ridiculously expensive. Like you can use any nice warm brown eyeshadows. And when I'm doing a soft glam look, I focus all my eyeshadows just on the outer half of the eye because I want to save the inner part for the pigment and glitter. Because if you bring the eyeshadow actually like all the way in, I feel like when you put the glitter on top, it doesn't look like as like bright because it's got some eyeshadow underneath it. So that's why I just focused all my shades on the outer half. This is for all my like blown out looks. And now as you can see, I've just gone with a slightly darker brown. I'm just like building it up. I'm not going to make it too dark because I do want this to be more of like a softer glam look. So I'm just slowly taking slightly darker browns, and the darker I go, I'm just like focusing it lower down closer to her lash line. So now that the browns are nicely built up, I'm taking the tiniest little bit of black and I'm just smoking this just in the very outer third, like pretty much along the lash line. This just adds a little bit of extra dimension without actually adding like too much black. It just adds something to the look. And then I'm going with my Too Faced glitter glue, and I'm going to tap this all over that inner part of the eye. As you can see, I left it bare with no eyeshadow because I want that that pigment to really like pop on the lid. So I'm just tapping that all over, and then I take like a little fluffy brush to make sure the glitter glue is like really thin and there's no like harsh lines, because then if you leave a harsh line, when you pack on the glitter, it's going to stay in that harsh line. So that's why I make sure it's nicely blended. Now I'm just taking a fluffy brush, and I take a fluffy brush when I'm doing these type of looks because I don't want the glitter to be like a really like solid full like, you know what I mean, like in a half cut crease the glitter is like really intense. This I want it to be more dispersed, so I take a fluffy brush, and then I'm also taking my Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy. This is my one, so I'm just putting it straight on my sister's lid. She doesn't care, and I'm just putting that on, and then I also blend it out with a little brush. I love doing this step because it just adds that little bit of extra dimension by adding like little specks of glitter, which I think is really, really pretty. And I'm going in with the browns that we use. I'm just making sure the glitter and the brown shadows are nicely blended together. And then we can clean up all that fallout. There's actually not too much fallout, and it's good using glitter glue because you don't get that much glitter fallout, because glitter fallout is the most annoying thing to try clean up. And so now I'm just highlighting her brow bone. I'm just using a gold shade. I think this is from the Clientele palette. And then we're going to be lining her lash line. So I'm taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner. I actually really love this liner. This one is just from Priceline, and it's super like matte and super black and really easy to apply as well. I love like felt tip liners, but normally on clients I just use gel liner because it's easier to be sanitary with, but this is my liner, so I'm just using it on my sister as well. And now we can get started on foundation. So as you can see, I accidentally went with foundation a little bit too light. I thought I grabbed a shade darker, and then I realized it was too light, so I mixed in the darker shade. But this is the Fenty Pro Filter foundation. This foundation is super matte. Normally I don't use it on its own, but because I did prep her skin earlier with a lot of like hydrating and glowy products, it sat really nicely on top. And I'm just blending that all over, and then I also go over with a sponge to make sure there's no like thick bits of foundation and it's all like nicely pressed into the skin. So now for concealer, this is, I actually gave it this concealer because I never use it anymore, but it's an oldie but a goodie, the Maybelline Fit Me. I actually really like this product, but I had heaps, so I just gave her this one so I could just use it straight on her. It's in the shade 20, which is a really nice like yellow undertoned concealer. This is a really good concealer for the price, and it's also like, it is still full coverage, but it's not obviously as full coverage as like say Tarte Shape Tape, but I do like it when I don't want to add too much like heaviness under the eye. So I'm just blending that in with my Model Rock Base Maker sponge and making sure it's nicely blended with the foundation and right up under her under eyes. And then next, to set the under eyes, instead of taking my Laura Mercier powder, I actually took my Maybelline Fit Me powder. I don't know why I haven't used this product much. I think I just like never got around to trying it out properly, but it actually is a really, really, really good powder for the price as well. This is in the shade Light, I'm pretty sure. And as you can see, it really like blurred the under eyes. Like I feel like it's really similar to the Laura Mercier powder, like especially for like the massive price difference. So I definitely recommend that. In the shade, this is a shade Light, and then I have another shade, I think this is a shade Light 20 or something, but yeah, it worked really nicely, as you can see, and made her under eyes nice and bright and smooth. And then for the rest of the face, I'm taking my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NC30, and I'm just going to lightly dust this all over. So before I finish off her under eyes, because she's obviously looking quite matte, I go in some of my Morphe setting mist. This just helps absorb in all of those powders because we've used quite a bit and the foundation is matte. And now I'm just highlighting her inner corner with the same highlight I used for her brow bone. So it's the Be Perfect Clientele palette, and then I'm taking those same browns just mixed together and smudging them under her eye. So I like to smudge it under first, and then I take a little fluffier brush with a lighter brown and then smoke it out so it's nice and blended. So next for her waterline, I wanted to put a nice nude in there. So I'm taking the Inglot Kohl pencil in the shade 5. This is a really nice like creamy nude. It's almost white, but it's nude eyeliner. And I'm just putting this in her waterline. As you'll see in a second, it makes like the biggest difference in just like brightening the eyes and opening them up. And then I want to take a little bit of black just in that very outer third of the eye just to match the top so it didn't look too heavy on the top compared to the bottom. And then we're going with mascara. I'm taking my Maybelline, one of my Maybelline mascaras. I'm just coating her top and bottom lashes. And I forgot to mention the lashes that I used are the Bella Beauty lashes in the style Gemini. These lashes went perfectly with this look. I feel like they're the perfect soft glam lashes because you can still see the eye makeup through them and they weren't like too thick or too long or anything. Like I feel like they were perfect. So now we're going with bronzer. I'm taking my Hourglass Radiant bronzer and I'm just putting this all over her face. This is a shimmery bronzer which I wanted to add some glow back into her face since the foundation and everything we used were quite matte, and this bronzer is one of my favorites. I love using it all the time when I want like a more glowy bronzer, and it's really similar shade to like, it's probably not as orange as Matte Give Me Sun, but I would say it's really similar and it's just got a really pretty golden glow to it. So next I'm taking a little bit of my Fenty Island Ting bronzer and I'm putting this on her cheeks pretty much in the same areas just to add a little bit more further dimension. And I like to use this product almost as like a contour, even though it's not a contour shade, but I just like to use it to add some more dimension because I prefer the face to be quite warm. And then for blush, I'm taking MAC Warm Soul. This again is a really pretty shimmery blush. It's just got a nice like a peachy pink undertone. And then I'm taking that same Fit Me powder and just cleaning up the bronzer to make sure it's nice and defined. And then for highlighter, I'm taking, what highlighter did I take? Oh yeah, my ABH Sugar Glow Kit. To be honest, I forgot I had this and I realized I don't really use it that often because it is quite glittery and that's not really what I like in a highlighter, but I feel like when I spray my brush and use it, it gets rid of some of that glittery effect. But I've just been using it because I wanted to mix up what highlighter I use, and it is really, really pretty. It has like 4 shades in it, but yeah, it's just like a little bit too glittery for my liking, but it looked really pretty with this look and it helped add some nice glow to the face. And now I'm just setting the brows. You guys know I always use my 24-hour brow setter. I'm just like brushing them upwards and making sure all the powders are out of her brows. And then I'm going to be brushing off that bake just with a big fluffy brush. I really make sure I dust off the bake quite well because you don't want to leave like a white cast or anything there. You want it just to look nicely blended. And then for lips, I'm taking my Morphe Sweetheart, I think is the shade, lip liner, and I'm just lining her lips, and then she actually takes the pencil and lines them for me because with her lips she does have quite big lips and she likes how she lines them, so I'm just like, it's probably easier if you do them. So as you can see here, she is just going over the lips, and then I'm going to be filling them in with, what did I use? Let me see. I think I used, did I use MAC Honey Love? Oh no, I used the Morphe lipstick. It was the Morphe lipstick in the shade Honey. This is a really nice lipstick. So yeah, I put that on and then I put on a little bit of gloss. This is the ABH gloss in, what is the shade? I can't remember the shade. I'll leave it down below. But yeah, my sister doesn't usually wear gloss, so this was a bit weird for her. But I feel like it looked nice with the look. I'm just setting the face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and that is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!